Things I wish I knew before becoming a traveling wedding planner. This year, my husband and I traveled to a different state to work a different wedding every single weekend. It was the craziest year of my life. It was everything that I was hoping and dreaming for, but also I made so many mistakes, dude. If you're even remotely curious about this industry, it's just these are some of the things that I've learned. The first thing to be aware of is that you need stamina. It's a lot traveling every single weekend, but I specifically mean for working the wedding day. If you're working as a planner in a local venue, you have shifts, right? Somebody comes to relieve you. It is not like that when you're traveling. It is just you. So the average time that you're working is literally 12 to 17 hours. The first time that I worked a 17-hour day without any breaks, the majority of them are 12 to 14 hours, I would say. The 17, we've had like about 3 this year, but those really got us. The only thing that you can do is make sure you're eating throughout the day. Make sure you have comfortable shoes, comfortable clothing, and you're upfront and honest about what you're able to do. One of the longer weddings that we had to work, we had to move the chairs and tables. I'm a strong woman. I work out, but it wipes me out. And it wasn't something that I even realized how tired I was from until much later, where I was like, oh my God, I'm starting to feel it in my body that I moved all those freaking chairs and tables. We don't move chairs and tables anymore unless we have a mover's fee or unless it's just like a small moving situation. But like hauling ass was too much. Anyway, also carry ibuprofen with you and Red Bulls. Not the healthiest way to live, but like I'm working on it. This is kind of like spilling some tea, but this next one is that not everyone wants you there. There are some specific states that I've worked in that they really freaking don't like outsiders coming in and taking their jobs, you know? I had to work on my people and communication skills more than ever, and I'm not that great with talking, but I had to be. Definitely had to learn how to stand up for myself and be really strong about my boundaries. We had to hop a fence once with all the floral arrangements because somebody quite literally locked us out of the building, intentionally sabotaging. It was crazy. If you're a fitness person, it is very difficult to stay on top of your athletic goals when you're traveling that much. Unfortunately, all of the flights are like at either the ass crack dawn or you're flying in at 1 a.m. We've been in many positions where you had to eat fast food because that was literally all that was open, and if you didn't, you would just starve. We started packing our own snacks. We started packing protein shakes. The eating part is more difficult than you would expect. And also the hotels, gyms are just not great. Sometimes you get lucky and you get an awesome gym, but then you might not have any time because you're working a 17-hour day. We kind of lost track a little bit with our physical fitness because of that reason, and I don't care. I am more than happy to have gained a little bit of weight, to have lived the life that I lived this year, but also it's just something that we've had to pay attention to. Working out during the middle of the week, trying to eat our best when we're home is the only thing that you can really do. If you can avoid staying where the wedding party is staying in the hotel, do that. A lot of the time you go with the room blocks because it's a discount, right? You're saving a little bit of money, you're probably closer to the venue, but it's like spending the night at the office. You cannot eat dinner at the hotel without people coming up to you and saying, oh, you're the wedding planner, which I love talking to people and I'm happy to do it, but you have to be on point, like 100%, because people are watching you. You literally cannot use a hotel bathroom without somebody being like, you're the wedding planner, right? One of the mornings after a wedding we were working, I was looking rough. I just worked that like 16 hours for that one. I did not sleep a lot. I looked like a trash goblin, but I was okay with that. And I was happy to just go downstairs and get breakfast. The entire bridal party was there and they all wanted to take pictures with me or talk about how the wedding went and all this. And it was like, I just want to get some breakfast. Let me have a little sip of coffee before we do this. I love the people that I work with and work for, but like I am also a person and I need my own person space. Also, if you're staying in the hotel where the wedding decor is in, I don't know how, but it will find its way to your room. Maybe I'm a pushover, but I have always ended up with some kind of box or decor in my hotel room. Once there was so many boxes of decor in our personal hotel room that we could not move within the space. And it was then that we were like, okay, this is no longer allowed. That was a mess up on my part, but you know, live and learn. You need 2 people. I would love to have 3, but also that would cost a couple more travel fees. So there's no way in hell I would be able to work one of those weddings by myself. You need help. Make sure you have every freaking detail possible. This one's tough and it takes a lot of time to figure everything out and to set up meetings with literally every vendor, literally every venue, oftentimes the family members or bridal parties I'm talking to, but you have to be as thorough as possible. Hello? What are you doing here? You have to be overprepared because you don't have the luxury of familiarity. You don't have the luxury of familiarity. I still can't say it. Familiarity? What is wrong with me? You're going into a blank space where you freaking know nothing. Sometimes you'll get lucky and the venue coordinator will really help you. Most times you cannot count on that. I can dive in deeper, but that would be like a whole conversation. You need to charge more for your travel fees than you're expecting. We first started out, we charged $600 for travel fees. I thought that would cover 2 plane tickets. I was so dumb. On average, it's more than $500 for the rental car everywhere we go, every state. And parking fees completely took me by surprise. I had to pay $200 for parking fees one time. And we were like, shit, I didn't think about that. There's always random things that come up that you just don't expect. Adding on to this, do not let your clients book the hotel for you. Just handle it yourself. Flights are all over the place cost-wise. Just making sure that you book like 3 months in advance has typically been the best pricing for me. Join the rewards situation. I was a broke ass kid that never traveled anywhere. I did not know any of this stuff. Rental cars have a reward system, hotels have a reward system, certain airlines have a reward system. You can't always go with the same company, unfortunately. It's kind of hard with the different states, but you can try, and when you do, it does benefit you. Use your credit card for literally everything. Just make sure you're on top of paying for it, but like getting the cash back and the rewards and all that stuff is super helpful. Truck, don't you know I'm trying to take a video right now? Maybe I should talk about the different cultures and states. Because that was a learning curve too. I am from New York. I talk really fast. I get right to the point. I walk really fast. I expect things to be snappy. It's not like that everywhere. People in the South want to talk to you for a long time before you even start working. That was weird to me. Thankfully, my husband has the charisma of an angel, and he definitely saved me in a couple situations where I didn't know that I was being kind of rude until I realized I was being rude. Let's move to international. If you're doing an international wedding, literally the best experience ever, but also you need work permits to do things there, and they are not cheap. Typically $1,000 for you to work in a different place. And yes, you're only working there for a day, but you literally need it. Also, if you want to treat it as a vacation, that's cool, but also just know that you're probably not going to make any money off of that trip. I don't work international weddings to make money. I work international weddings to have a vacation. Because we'll work the wedding, and then we'll stay like 5 days after, and the 5 days ends up being the same amount of money as what we made. Which is fine by me, but just know in advance. Unless you just go back home, which would be weird of you. By the way, if anybody needs a wedding in France, I'm waiting. Taxes. Oh, it's so boring to talk about, but you have to save money for taxes relentlessly. Every job, put money away. I was not good at that, and it screwed me over. And that's just like, you live and learn because you're working for yourself and nobody's taking out taxes for you, babes. You do not get a refund. Let's just be very honest about that. I would also 1000% recommend having an assistant. As we are traveling every single weekend, it's a little bit hard for us to keep up with planning for other clients. So we specifically have an assistant that takes care of researching and vendor booking and just general maintenance with our other planning clients as we're doing these things. We did it without her for a while, but let me tell you, it is worth every cent. I love that woman. There's always still a shit ton more for us to do when we come back during the week, but having her kind of helps buffer it out a little bit. Another thing with traveling, you have to charge more specifically because you're sectioning out your whole weekend. When I'm working local weddings, I could do 3 weddings per weekend. My prices are more expensive because you're technically taking up the whole weekend. I can't think of any more on the top of my head, but if you have questions, I would love to answer them. I would love to help people figure out this in a more easy way than the way that I did. This is kind of fun, just like chatting. I really like making the TikTok videos where it's like only a minute, but I think that these kind of longer form videos are really educational for people, so I might continue to do more. I don't know. Anyway, happy planning!